Great afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Definitely, guys, first and foremost, my name is Lily Mae, and I am the proud owner of ID 104 Radio. It is a digital station, so whether you like country, hip-hop, gospel, soul, jazz, if you're a left-winger or a right-winger, we have something for you. We are a station that fuses AM and FM radio. And with that being stated, we are all inclusive. So I charge you to download the Live 365 app and just tune into ID 104 Radio sometimes. You'll hear some amazing music and talk. But for all intents and purposes this evening, we are here to serve you a panel. And so it is called All Things Authentic. And basically what it looks like is that often we forget that we need to get back to the basics. You know, right now everything goes, everything is accepted, but there was once upon a time when people had high morals and high values, and we didn't just let any and everything go. And so today we're going to talk to you a little bit about self-love and self-care. And it's not just for the women. I think what happens is a lot of times we forget that our men, they need us, right? They need self-care. They need to understand self-love, but it begins with us. So I'm going to have my beautiful co-hosts and panelists introduce themselves, and then we'll get this thing on the show.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brenda Barnes. I would call myself a worshiper first and foremost. I am definitely excited to be here. I am an aspiring actress as well as singer. I am a hustler. So I actually have been in corporate America for over 22 years, and that's something I don't plan on putting down as I achieve these other avenues of income. But I am very excited to be here. Definitely self-love and self-care is definitely at the forefront in the past few years. I would say definitely post-pandemic. So I'm just excited to be here, and I'm going to pass it on to this young lady to my left.
Hi everyone, my name is Naomi Bauman, and like my lovely co-host as well, I'm also by day I also work in corporate America, and by night I'm a screenwriter, film director, and film producer, just out here trying to live my dreams and help others achieve their goals and dreams as well.
And you need to check out Manifested Bliss. It is actually streaming now. That is a film that she produced last year, so guys, make sure you check it out. But let's get rocking, right? So we are going to cover 4 topics in the 45 minutes that we have, right? And so we want this thing to be interactive. So now, y'all better get ready, because I'm coming with somebody's with this mic, okay? So I hope you're ready. So just to start off, the first segment is going to be called Who Are You? Who are you? Have you ever really sat down to think about who you are outside of what you do? Because a lot of times we get these titles and we get these accolades and people start throwing names at us, and we think we somebody. But when you are stripped down to nothing, who are you? So I'm going to start with our first panelist, Miss Brenda, then Naomi, and I'll close the segment out.
Who am I? Who is Brenda? Brenda is, like I said before, a worshiper first. I am a lover of all people. I am patient. I try to put the positive in front of the negative because there's so much negative that's right in our faces. I try to be a peacemaker, which is difficult in this climate that we live in now. I'm definitely a rider when it comes to my friends and my family. You have to be a friend to make a friend. And I've prided myself in that over my past 45 years of living. So I will stop there and I will pass it to my left.
Who am I? I would say I'm a humble young queen going after her purpose. In a world where it seems like everybody, where everybody kind of works to get something or to say, look at me, look at me. I'm more humble, and I believe like when we reach out to help our brother and sister, and even like the young ones coming up behind us, it makes the world a better place. I'm definitely saying that humble individual. That's just all about community and unity and just bringing people together to our purpose.
And so when we ask the question, who are you, right? We're looking for you to decode your personality and your core values. So guys in the audience right now, I want you to think about something. What makes you happy, right? What makes you happy that does not involve someone else or something? Just take a minute. Think about what makes you happy that doesn't involve someone else or something. What motivates you? What inspires you? What drives you? I think a lot of times, once again, it goes back to understanding who we are when we have nothing. Because guess what? When we understand who we are when we have nothing, when you get everything, you will not change, right? Because you already have been rooted in who you are. So, to answer the question, who am I? I am a fighter. I am a lover of people. I am an empath. I am a doer. I am a do what you gotta do to get the job done, right? And so, with those things, sometimes we really have to kind of reach back and remember we are our best friend. Whether you have a significant other, whether you're married, whether it's your child, one of the things that we have to make sure that we're doing is that we are caring for us first. Especially mothers. Fathers, I'm not knocking you down, but especially mothers. Mothers, you have to care for you first, because if you're not caring for you, you can't care for that child. And guess what? Especially those baby girls, they're going to follow you, and they're going to forget to care for themselves when it's time to do so. So as you look at the fashion and really, shopping with the vendors, really think about who are you? What are your core values? What is your personality type? Who are you when you lay across whatever altar, whether you're going to get burned up or whatever you plan to do? Who will you be at that point? Because at that point, titles, socioeconomic status, none of that matters. And so I really want everybody this evening to really answer that question for yourself. Who are you? All right, so we're going to go to part 2. What does self-love look like? What does self-love look like? And once again, guys, I'm picking on y'all today. Because what happens is, first of all, let me just say this. I'm a daddy's girl, right? So I'm going to always advocate for my men. I'm just telling you, because I tell people all the time, I had one of those real old school black daddies, so I don't care what black men do, I'm going to ride or die for y'all, and we're going to figure that thing out together. So let me just say that first and foremost. So we are, as women, are going to tell you what self-love looks like, but we also want you guys to embrace it. Because something happened, right? Something happened when that traditionalist generation. So let's take it back to that 1900s to the 1940s. That generation of men could not cry, right? They couldn't cry. They couldn't have emotions. They had to bottle it up and keep walking. Well, that has been transmitted through all generations. And now you're wondering why you got little kids out here shooting up everything. Well, toxic masculinity is real. And we just have to address it. It is real. However, self-love does not make you feminine. It makes you human. So today, we are going to talk to you a little bit about what self-love looks like from our perspective. But I'm going to drop a couple of draws for the guys here. Did you say draws?
Okay, draws. That's what they like. Draws.
Okay, great. So,
for me, self-love is definitely acts of kindness for myself. And I would say I get up in the morning, I thank God for just that. And I may read a scripture before I get my day started, and then I will give myself affirmations like, you are beautiful, you are strong, you are kind, you are enough, Brenda. He created you in His image. He broke the mold on you too. So things like that, I try to assure myself as I go about my day, every day. Another thing that has definitely been an epiphany for me in the past 3 years of my personal life has been an example of self-love for me is boundaries. Definitely not allowing any kind of energy to enter my space that I know shouldn't be there. Loving myself enough to know, regardless of whether it's a romantic relationship, a friendship, or whatever, that it's okay to say no. I was a yes girl for the longest time. I grew up in the Baptist church, so I don't know who else grew up in the Baptist church. When you serve, honey, don't come in that back door. You ain't on the program. They'll put you on the program real quick. So stuff like that, I was trained to be like, okay, well, if somebody asks you to do something, just go ahead and do it. Doesn't matter if you're gonna be compensated. Doesn't matter if it's this or that. Just do it. And then sometimes people will use you up. So I had to learn how to tell people no and how to put boundaries on myself, especially in my romantic relationship. Certain things that I've experienced that I know I don't want to experience anymore, but not necessarily carrying the baggage, but just letting that person know that, hey, this is what I want, this is what I need, and in return, we're going to make it do what it do. So I'll pass it.
Yeah, especially that boundaries part. I was a yes girl as well. I think what makes self-love to me is also like congratulating myself, letting myself know that I did a good job. I know sometimes in life, sometimes you feel like, okay, like you may feel like you're like working hard. Sometimes you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. So just like congratulate yourself for like just little stuff. Like it could even be, say, if you want to eat healthier, it could be okay. I reached my water goal today. Something little like that. So self-love is definitely congratulating myself for the little things as I'm reaching my bigger goals in life.
Cool. So yeah, definitely. That's one thing about it, ladies. Growing up in church, it's a different situation. And how many people in here have heard the term church hurt? Raise your hand if you've heard that term church hurt. Boy, I'm trying to tell you, if you don't already have self-love as a child growing up in the church, if you ain't getting it home for real, you are set up. I'm trying to tell you one thing about it. We have this thing, and I don't know where it came from. That what goes on in this house stays in this house. I think that truly has ruined we as a people, because what has happened is we forgot to tell the truth about what's going on. That's the part that people don't add in. What goes on in this house stays in this house begins to create a false reality for the world. And now we wonder why we got all these people on Instagram living these fake lives. But we have to start to live in our true, authentic selves and let people know it's not pretty every day, right? Things happen to us. So for me, self-love looks like looking in the mirror, taking this wig off, taking all this stuff off of my face, and loving what I see underneath everything, right? Self-love looks like being completely naked, and not in the physical, but completely naked, emotional, mentally vulnerable, and understanding that it's okay to have a bad day. You know what I'm saying? One thing about this new generation, so Gen Zers and Gen Alpha, guys, they don't care. The boys or the girls, they wear their emotions on their sleeves. But as we think back to, those traditionalists and the baby boomers and Gen Xers, guys, all of us were kind of taught to suck it up and move on, right? Raise your hand if you were taught to suck it up and move on. You get what I'm saying? You didn't have the opportunity to, I'm having a bad day. I know I had older parents, so my mom was like, look, get over it. I had a whole lot of bad days. You feel what I'm saying? But when you truly are self-aware, you have self-worth, you have self-esteem, and you practice self-care, that is truly when you are showing yourself self-love. And guess what, baby? You can't have 1, 2, 3. You gotta have all 4 to truly understand how to practice self-love. And so I think where we are now is women, talking to my ladies, we have to get to a point where we love ourselves so much that we don't go and mutilate our bodies just because an influencer told us to do so. Because guess what? Our next topic, we're going to talk about the difference between an influencer and someone who is impactful. We're going to talk about that because I think, especially for my models in the back, I hope you guys are listening, because this next segment is definitely for our creatives and maybe for some of you in the audience, you know, because as we get a little bit older, things might hang a little bit more than it used to when we were younger, but it's all good because it's a blessing to make it to age. And so I really just want you to understand, guys, self-love is comprehensive. It's comprised of self-care, self-worth, self-awareness, and self-esteem. All right, now, for the topic that's really gonna touch, you know, it might step on some toes, and I'm gonna tell y'all something. It's never my intent to offend, but I'm a realist, right? I live in the real world. I don't live in the Instagram world. I don't live in the TikTok world or the Facebook world. I live in the real world where real life matters, right? And so let's break this thing down real quick. How many people know what influencers are? I'm pretty sure everybody. All right. So when you think of an influencer, I want you to think of something that's short-lived. I want you to think of what happens when you put an ice cube in a cup of coffee. And I want you to think of an impactful person as the cup of coffee. The ice cube is going to be short-lived in a cup of coffee. And so this conversation is so important because I'm going to ask the ladies, influence or impact, which one do you choose?
I think that's a no-brainer. For me, anyway. I definitely want to leave an impact in this world because we all ain't gonna stay here. So definitely be impactful to people I love around me, my daughter, the closest to me as far as family and friends, but making sure that to keep it all the way real, that people gonna have something good to say about you when you die. Like for real. Because I have seen and experienced things like that, you know, which is the total end, where there's hardly anybody in the seats. People are scratching and scraping, trying to find something good to say about the person. That's not good. That's not good. So my thing is, I want to make sure that I leave good energy in every room I walk in. You know, I smile from ear to ear because I know that I don't have to be here. You know, because of what I experienced in my life, and everybody's been through something, but I am truly grateful to be here at this appointed time in my life. So definitely be impactful is priority for me.
I agree. I also choose to be impactful as well. Because like impact, you're living in your purpose, and you're able to train up the next generation. Like especially people speaking, they say train up the child in the way they should go. So when we're impactful, especially we want to see like a more positive world, a more unified world, one where we're not afraid for the next generation to live. It's definitely impact.
Absolutely. And so Bertha said it's a no-brainer for her, right? She said, she would choose impact. And I think if I'm looking around the room and if I'm scanning the room correctly, I think the majority of you in here probably would say you want to be impactful. But guys, you know what's so sad? We're probably 1% of people that would choose impact. Because the world tells us that influencers are the gospel. So I'm gonna go to who I am outside of the question, because I wanna bring this thing home. So who I am by day, right? So I just finished law school a month ago, right? And everybody was like, oh my God, oh my God. But guess what, guys? And thank you for clapping. But do y'all know I was not happy? And I'm going to tell you why. When I look around at the panels that I see people sitting on, I'm like, y'all taking advice from these people with their 1 million followers that have never had to write a case brief a day in their damn life? Y'all, I was just so hurt. And then people buying doctorates that don't even have a bachelor's, master's, or anything else. And guys, it's scary out here. People choose to be influencers because it looks good. But nobody really understands that when you choose to be impactful, when you lay down at night, you feel good, you sleep good. When you want to be an influencer, this is what happens. You gotta wake up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, right? And I ain't telling you something somebody told me, I'm telling you something I know. You gotta wake up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, right? You gotta beat your face to the gods. You gotta turn that ring light on, and you gotta start making content, and you gotta pray that nobody pull up on you before you are ready for them to see you. Because the reality is this: most of our influencers are the most broken people in the world. Before I decided to go back to law school, baby, I was a behavioral health clinician. So I'm telling you, most of our influencers are some of the most broken people in the world, and they are the ones that are giving you advice on how to live your lives. So y'all fly to the Dominican Republic and over to Mexico, and you get on these tables and get cut up, and then sometimes don't even make it back. Why? Because that ice cube that you put in that hot coffee told you to do so. And now guess what? The influencer is mixed up in the impact. Because realistically, let's just be honest with ourselves. Anything that is persuasive, and that's what influencers are for, they're for persuasion. It's not gonna last long because it's rooted in opinions and appeal. Impact is rooted in fact and servitude. Us being here today, we're not influencers, but guess what? We're impactful in our communities. Not only in our personally, and if you guys are City of Atlanta residents, or if you're in the area, we support an entity called the Atlanta Citizen Review Board. How many people have ever heard of the Atlanta Citizen Review Board? Okay. So interestingly, what does the Atlanta Citizen Review Board do? Investigate complaints of police misconduct. How many people knew that? See, and think about it. What's going on in the world? Law enforcement issues everywhere. And people don't even know that the Atlanta Citizen Review Board exists, for real. And I say that to say, we don't want to be influencers. We want to be impactful. All of us up here are creatives, actresses, screenwriters, radio personalities. But at the end of the day, we care more about speaking to you guys, whether it's 2, 3, or 200. For me, I know that some of the most impactful people in the world are not influencers. And guess what? They're not well known either. And that's all right. Because I always say this, and some of y'all probably understand where I'm going with this. I don't want my name on the A-list. I want my name on the scroll, baby. When the clouds be rolled back as a scroll, I want my name on the scroll. That's all I'm saying. All right, so we're going to get ready to start closing out. But we're going to tell you a little bit about our mechanisms for self-care. Now, I'm going to talk directly to the guys. Like I said, I'm a daddy's girl, straight up and down. So I'm going to always root for you guys and try to give you guys some tips so that you can truly, ease your stress and make your way and navigate this world, which is a wicked world. But we're going to help you navigate through it. So ladies, let's go.
All right, self-care. Well, for me, it's definitely, I love massages. I'm sorry, I do. whether it is Massage Envy or Jeju up in Duluth, okay, shout out. And, that actually relaxes not only my body, but my mind. It gives me a chance to escape from everything and all my responsibilities as a woman on this earth. And it just gives me a chance just to be Brenda and not move on to the next task that needs to be completed. So I love massages. I actually took a day off this week. I called it my self-care day, where I got my nails done, I got my hair braided, and got my eyebrows done. I just felt like, I wanted to feel like a girly girl, because it's been a while since I've had a chance to do it, because I have other priorities that are just more pressing. And so I've gotten to the point now where I can do those things for myself again, and it's a blessing in itself. It was a blessing when I couldn't do it, because God carried me through it. So either way, I'm good to go. But yes, those are definitely some of the things I love to do for myself. Book reading, of course. I love novels. I know a lot of people don't like to read anymore. We got Kindles and online devices, but I'm an old-fashioned go to Barnes & Nobles or the library, pick out a good novel and just curl up and be to myself and read it, and let my mind take my imagination off somewhere to a whole nother galaxy, a whole nother world, depending on what I'm reading.
Self-care for me is definitely movies. I love curling up, watching a good movie, whether it be something on Tubi or Netflix or movies, a glass of wine.
All right.
And writing, definitely just writing stuff down, whether it be like a new project or just writing my thoughts. Writing is definitely just therapeutic for me.
Okay, so first for my guys, sports, right? I always say this, a lot of time, we as women, we kind of want to retreat, right, and be by ourselves to kind of care for self and things of that nature. But it's a little bit different for guys. Sometimes for guys, self-care looks like going out with the fellas and really just kicking back watching a game. But sometimes that's the most stressful time, because sometimes we don't want them to go out. Ladies, let's keep it real. Sometimes we don't want them to go out with their fellas, because all our men folk got their one friend, right? They got their one friend that you don't really like that. And you I don't need you around him. But realistically, there are some differences when it comes to self-care for men and women. One of the things I will say for both is, like Brenda said, massages it's a little iffy situation there. Massages can be extremely therapeutic, right? But sometimes they kind of make you forget what you really need to focus in on. So I'm gonna go to Naomi. Read a book. When you take a minute to pick up a book, put it in your hands and read it, it's something about that hand to brain connection. I don't know what it is, but there's a difference between watching something and typing notes than reading the book and writing the notes. I still can't figure it out, but I know it's different. And so, guys, I charge you, pick up a book every now and then. Just pick up any book. It doesn't matter what it is, because sometimes you need to read something that doesn't necessarily align with what you're thinking or what you're doing. I think a lot of times we spend more time trying to justify our habits by reading stuff that re-traumatizes us, but that's not what self-care looks like. Self-care looks like addressing the things that we need to fix, right? So that we can feel better. So I charge you to pick up a book. The other thing is, take a bath. We live in a shower world. I'm keeping it real. I don't know how many people still like to just sit in the bathtub and just sit there and soak like back in the day. Y'all, I know we used to have to get in the bathtub back in the day. I know my grandma and my mother used to make us get in that bathtub and just sit there on Saturday night. Get out, skin be wrinkled. But baby, that bath will do something to you. Just sit there sometime. After a long day, sit there and relax. A lot of things that we do that we think is self-care, ladies, I'm about to bust your bubble with this one. Getting your nails done and getting your hair done is not self-care. And I'm going to tell you why. Because 9 times out of 10, Somebody talking to you and they dumping all their stuff on you. Now, Brenda said she don't have that experience. But if y'all go to the hair, now it's a little bit different if you get your hair done in somebody's house and if it's your friend, you know, y'all probably just kicking back, drinking your wine, doing whatever. But 9 times out of 10, when you go into the hairdresser and getting your nails done, somebody's dumping on you. So a lot of times, the things that we think we're doing that's exhibiting great habits of self-care, sometimes it can be to our detriment because we're taking on other people's stuff. So, prioritize yourself. That's first and foremost. I'm going to say it again. Mothers, fathers, caregivers, guys, we have to prioritize ourselves. I'm the pot calling the kettle black because I'm the first one that's going to try to do something for somebody else. But I'm telling you, when you start to prioritize yourself, you definitely do feel better. And I think Brenda said it best when she said set boundaries. That's how you prioritize yourself, guys. Start to set boundaries. Start to set boundaries. It's okay to say no. And I think if I could leave you with anything else today, practice saying no without giving an explanation why. Because y'all know we all do it. We hate to say no. How many people hate to say no? Because I hate it. I always feel the need to explain. But I think that that's a part of self-care. Understanding that we don't owe nobody an explanation. If they ain't paying no bills, and even if they are, you don't owe no explanation. Just say no. But realistically, guys, we don't want to take a lot of your time, but we really do appreciate, you know, how attentive everybody is, and we are definitely here to support. We would love for you guys to come and see us on stage in a couple of weeks because we will be presenting, producing, and starring in Pop's Diner. And it's Pop's Diner, a place where relationships are served, and it will be held at Crossroads Sound and Stage over on Lakewood Avenue. So guys, if you get an opportunity, go over to Instagram and check out Pop's Diner Stage Play. That's POPSDINERSTAGEPLAY. That's Pop's Diner Stage Play. And I guarantee you, you will be tripped out. So I'm going to let these ladies leave you with final words and their social medias if you want to contact or just follow and see what's going on.
Okay, thank you everybody for being here and for listening to us, and hopefully we were able to be impactful to you all this afternoon. I would say, I would leave you with this, and this is just as plain as I can get because I'm a plain old country girl. Treat people right so it comes back to you. And so you can follow me on Instagram at The Curvy Consultant LLC.
I heard that.
Thank you all for listening. I hope everybody picked up some jewels and some gems today. And then I just one last nugget is just make sure you're just doing something that you're passionate about. Because a lot of people always ask, how do I what is my purpose? So whatever you're passionate about in life, just go for it. And then my Instagram is Naomi K. Bauman.
Alrighty. Guys, thank you so very much. Once again, I'm Lily Mae. You can check me out everywhere, www.lilymaycollective.com. And if you go there, you'll find everything that's going on. Guys, we are here to service you. So if you think of anything that you need, we have everything from acting coaching to project management to filmmaking and things of that nature. Just know we are here to service you. And if anything we can do to support you, we give because we know it's going to be given back to us. Have a great evening, ladies and gentlemen.